Maybe you could throw in some bloopers for the video.
Okay. I feel so shy.
Hey y'all. Yeah, y'all. I'm just kidding. Everyone, I am David Desiree's boyfriend. This is my sun glistening, Krispy Kreme glazed, sun kissed, brown lover sugar boo.
Wow, that was quite an introduction.
Thank you.
I am nervous because I'm used to recording videos completely by myself, and having him here is making me nervous. But I've gotten a lot of questions asking how we met.
That's a great question. How did we meet?
How did we meet? So we met on a dating app.
We did meet on a dating app. I believe it was Hinge.
You believe?
I believe it was Hinge.
It was Hinge. It was definitely Hinge.
I was, you know what I'm saying? I was a real player out here. I was on. I'm not sure I can name any other dating apps.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I know how many other apps you were on.
One.
You were only on Hinge at the time? Same.
One. We had a great conversation through the app.
We did.
Which
We
I
really did.
screenshotted every piece of so that I could have and delete the app.
Ain't it cute? We did have a really good conversation. I think that was nice too, because I'm not a big, which we talked about the more that we hung out, I'm really not a big texter, and you weren't either, I feel like.
I hate it.
So like the messaging on the app was hard enough for me in general anyway, but I did feel like talking to you, like I could get your sense of humor, or like, I don't know, you just also, it's hard to like find somebody to talk to that like is also having like an actual conversation and not getting weird, because that happened a lot.
Yeah.
Like in talking to other people, I'm like,
I mean,
what are you even saying
I absolutely
to me right
found myself, and my apologies.
now? No, you're fine, baby.
I absolutely found myself, texting you way more than I text most people.
Yeah.
I mean, your friends, you can say whatever to them because they know what you mean.
Yeah.
But even them, I don't text them too much in detail. You here? Yeah, I'm here. I'll be outside in 2 minutes. 2 minutes means 5. We get it. But I was texting a bunch, but I was actually trying to explain myself, because the more we got into our conversation, the more I was like, I need to make sure that she understands what
exactly
I'm saying. What I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the responses you would give me would kind of make me feel like you were getting an understanding for what I was saying, and I was like,
this is
she don't know how she, touching me kind of nice. This is nice. I'm feeling this. And so, like, I just made an effort to, like, text thoroughly.
Yeah.
And then obviously, soon after, texting turned into all voice notes, almost exclusively voice notes and phone calls.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so we messaged for how long? Probably like a couple weeks on the app before we actually went out.
Mm-hmm.
And you did ask me to hang out sooner than I was able to. I know I was away.
You were away.
And then we agreed on like the following week when I would be back in town, which only for me like prolonged the anxiety of us meeting. It was like, now it's a whole week of me thinking about us meeting for the first time.
Just because you don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know what I'm thinking. I mean, at the time, neither of us knew, like, it might be messaging somebody else. And nothing crazy, nothing.
Yeah, but like what could happen in a week? Yeah. What could possibly happen in a week? Plus, I'm like, I just hope that it was clear that I did really like you and like talking to you, because I was like, I don't want this to sound like a BS. Like, actually, I'm out of town. I can't hang out.
No, it definitely didn't sound like that. And for me, it was, I don't know the characters or the numbers for the math.
Yeah.
For what I thought, or like how I put it together. But obviously, having the visuals of you on the app.
Yeah.
I did stalk you on Instagram.
I was going to say, did you look at my Instagram?
I did stalk you on Instagram. But not stalk. I just wanted to see, like, what you actually look like.
Yeah.
And, like, maybe a situation or a picture of, like, that you wouldn't send me.
Yeah.
So I was like, what does she really look like? And then she actually looks cute. Because I was like, visually, the math does math.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Uh-huh.
Contextually, with the conversation, it adds up.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, she's not a good person.
Okay.
Like, of course, there's something I can find out about it I don't know. But I was like, I like her.
Okay.
She's not a good person, and I would like to meet her.
Yeah.
That just began the whole 3-course date type of thing.
3-course date. So then we finally went on our first date. He did a really good job, y'all, because we did, what did we do first? We did the comedy show.
We did the comedy show.
Which was nice because I was really nervous, and sometimes that can take over for me, especially in terms of conversation and stuff. So it was good to like meet up with you, and then we obviously had to interact at the comedy show, but we were also like watching something, so we didn't have to. I didn't feel the immediate pressure of like, now we need to have small talk right now. Like as soon as we met, I got to like calm down and like have something break the ice, something to laugh about, something to like look at each other and laugh about.
Mm-hmm.
So that was good. I thought that was, I don't know if you were that intentional about it or if you just thought it would be fine, but I thought that was, in hindsight, from like for me and my personality, I feel like it was probably a good beginning.
Absolutely not that deep. I wish I was that deep. For me, it was just more like to give a unique experience. That was like more of what I wanted to do, because I don't know like, oh, they say, comedy shows aren't a good first date because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
This isn't a good date because X, Y, and Z. I don't know any of that.
Yeah.
I was like, what can I put together that's like a decent experience? The comedy tickets were not expensive at all. New York Comedy Club, and just to put together a decent experience. I knew, I think maybe one of the two of the comedians that were going on that night. It's like it could be funny. It could be funny, and I like to make her laugh, and I like to be funny. So it's just like, at the very least, at the end of the show, I can riff off of what the comedians have said, what you laughed at, what I saw you giggle at. But it ended up being like, I got us that idea for your sense of humor outside of what I was able to give.
We laughed a lot, I feel like.
We laughed a bunch. And I maybe kind of feel like during the time that we were just watching the show, you're kind of like coming down from being
all the nerves.
as nervous as you were. But I had a great time, and it could have turned out the worst. They could have picked us out in the crowd, started making fun of us.
Oh my god, it could have been awful.
I don't know.
I hate to be the center of attention, so that would have been my worst nightmare.
And I would have found that out that night. But everything was good. We came out of there and everything was smooth.
I did throw you a curveball though, because I think you had figured out where you wanted to go to eat prior to. I mean, I didn't throw a curveball at you that night. It was like maybe the day before or shortly before the date, right? I am vegan-ish.
Yeah.
And was more strictly vegan at the time.
Like maybe, I don't know if it was the day before, maybe 2 days before, but it was pretty quick, and I think I had already made a reservation somewhere else. I don't know where that was.
He was like, I have a great place for us to go to dinner, and I was like, I think that I should probably tell you that I'm vegan before we do dinner.
And I was like, oh, snizzy.
Yeah. But you did a great job.
Didn't bother me.
You pivoted really well.
For all of our dates, just because, again, every time, I'm not going to continue to take you to the comedy club every date, but every time, so it's like, how do I get a unique experience? And then I had to find a vegan restaurant. So, and that kind of led to everything good. Tried food I never tried before. Taking you to every restaurant that we've ever been to, I've never taken anyone ever. So it was completely original restaurants, all that good stuff. I mean, it's just completely different, original like date structure that I was able to put through. Not that it was never bad, but it's just like you do as much as you can. You do as much as you can. It's not that I didn't care before, but you find out how much you do care pretty quickly. And
which
you're
was
like,
nice too. Let
me do something that's kind of like even out. It's a fun activity. Eating is a date, but it's not really a date. It's more like, I would like you to survive the day. I would like you to be in your best mood, as well as myself.
You would like to be in your best
for
mood.
sure. I know for me. But, you can't just haul somebody who's hangry around all day.
No, absolutely not. But I think that was another, like, good thing. Not that you were on a point system, but it was like,
not that obviously I was on a point system, but it got me a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm vegan, or was following a more strict vegan diet at the time, and you are not vegan at all.
Not vegan at all. Not vegan at all. And I don't even know that I've ever had like a vegan dish completely. I mean, maybe I had a bowl of rice one day, if you could consider vegan. I'm sure I had some pasta.
So just the intentionality of it and the effort that I knew. Because it wasn't like he was like, oh, well, what vegan restaurants do you like? Or where should we go? Or whatever. He just was like figuring it out, making reservations, and I was just...
Figure it out, and I'm...
showing up.
My pickiness in food is, it's different than like, I don't like vegan food, or I don't like Indian food. It's like,
Very specific.
I was very Pacific. No, say Pacific. We're going to be saying Pacific instead of specific, and this is your first warning.
That's kind of like an inside thing.
Yeah, it's very Pacific pickiness. And so, like, if I see one thing on the menu that I like, we can go. There's really no problem about going. But I didn't want her to have to pick edamame and...
You wanted me to have options.
A bunch of sides. I would like for her to have a meal in front of her, one large plate, if I could stand it.
Even though I would be more than happy with a meal of sides.
More than happy. Yeah. I'll let you know how those sides work. If we be making this video, she's eating sides all the time.
Oh, baby. Okay, what was your first impression of me?
My first impression of you.
Sir.
Upon meeting,
yeah,
it was... You have braids.
I did have braids.
You have braids.
Is that your impression? She got braids?
No. I was like I was picturing
trying to remember
meeting
the
you
night.
at the comedy spot.
Yeah.
And what I saw. And I was like, this is cool. And I was like, she's short, she's small.
I'm 5'1", guys.
The boots weren't tricking anybody. I think you have boots.
I did have on really
chunky boots. Weren't tricking anybody. But I was just like...
They did give me a couple inches.
But I was like, she dresses so nice. And really, I mean, if you put an outfit together, right? And it was just like, really? It's like the boots. I was like, you can't... Normal people just don't wear those boots anytime. I was like, there's some style in it.
Uh-huh.
Your coat was really nice. And I was like, oh, she's so cute. And then... and then...
What you about to say?
Don't act like you know what I'm about to say.
I don't.
This video.
We did not.
You do know.
I do know what you're going to say. Oh, God.
And then, well, you know, I'm trying to... There's a coat on. She has a coat on. She had on pants and boots. So, like, you can see it, but you can't really see it. And then,
oh my God,
you turn around to go into the place. And I was like, hold up, time out. Hold up, time out. And I was like, nah, I'm not entitled to the booty. But I was like, if she's as cool as I think she is, and she's as wonderful as I think she is, call me David Copperfield.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
Call me David Copperfield.
Absolutely not. So that was your first impression. Nice booty. Cute.
First visual impression.
Okay.
We talk about this all the time, but you weren't a talker. And so...
Sure I was.
No, but you responded, and we had talked so much prior that like the words that you would give up, the few words, and were good enough. And also when I talked and you laughed, it felt genuine. So I was like, that's good enough. I was like, we're gonna yank some information out of you if that's what we have to do. But I'm gonna know about you.
Yeah, I can be really reserved at first, especially.
For sure, and me too. If we were both going to be reserved, this wouldn't have worked.
He definitely did a lot of the early work of conversation and pulling me out of my shell. What was my first impression of you? Okay, so remembering that night when you walked up at the comedy club. So first of all, I was pretty early, because I get really nervous and it makes me feel better to be early. I wanted to be there before him, honestly. You walked up, he smelled so good. That was the very first, because it was cold, it was windy, and I felt like the smell of your cologne hit me before you even got to me, but not in an overpowering way. I was like, yes, I'm impressed.
And I got a hug, and I was like, and I mean, you know me now, but if my eyes didn't work, my nose would work just fine. So, the perfume, how she smelled, I was like, I'm sold. I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I don't want to sound like a weirdo and be like, it's everything.
It's everything.
That's everything.
No, but yeah.
I might remember how you smelled before a lot of other things, and I was like, that's a good time.
Yeah.
That is a great time. And I mean, everything that I found out about you that night just only added to okay, next weekend, let me see what she's doing.
We're going to do it again. But you smelled amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You have, I know this bothers you sometimes, but you have the kindest face. You had the biggest, brightest smile on. I just instantly felt okay, Like, I'm nervous, but this is gonna be fun. Like, I mean, obviously we have been talking before that, but you just never know what to expect. Especially, I mean, in all situations, but I feel like as a woman, like, am I about to be uncomfortable? Like, do I, just that first initial, like, vibe check. So I was like, okay, he seems like nice, like who I felt like I was talking to. I felt like you were also just, and he's still like this, just like taking care of me, like making sure I was good. We were sitting down, like, you want anything, you need anything, are you okay? Like, just a gentleman.
Yeah, I mean,
so all of that was nice upon first meeting.
Feel type of people. Like, we feel a lot of other people's energy. We feel each other's energy quite heavily. And so, like, just the big idea of that in my mind, it's like, I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that she feels comfortable, so that we can at least have like a fair
shot
conversation,
at this.
fair shot, at making this something. And that went a long way, and I didn't specifically realize that. But I felt it, and so I just continued to make sure that she felt good in my presence, because I know I felt good in her presence. I mean, other than her like being a little bit more quiet than she is now, not to say that she's loud or talks too much anyway now, but
I talk a lot to you though now. I tell him
everything.
I made up for all the talking that I didn't do the early parts of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, we send voice notes all day.
All day.
When we talk, you want a minute by minute of my day.
Hook me up.
Today, the coffee shop I went to, what I got for lunch.
Hook me up. What you ate? I need to know
what I'm wearing.
Things. You know what I mean?
All the things. But I also thought it's funny because having two different experiences, like, I know that I can be more quiet and reserved, but I also just thought because he did so much of the talking, his was more like, oh, she's kind of quiet, like, I need to fill in the gaps of this conversation. I was like, he is so talkative, like, he just loves to chat me up, and I am more than fine with, like, letting you chat me up, like, letting someone chat me up.
You weren't giving up the goods, the information,
and I was like,
everything
he is
about
just
you that I wanted to know.
So talkative and just funny and whatever, and I just was like, I'm just gonna sit here and be cute and listen to him chat me up. But he was like, this girl won't say any words to me.
It was, I don't want to say it was easy, but I didn't have to like fill it with garbage.
No.
Like the time the wood with garbage. She wasn't saying much, so whatever she wasn't giving is what I would ask. So, where you from? What you doing? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies?
Yeah.
All the questions, just getting to know everything about you, family questions, and one of the harder questions to get you to answer during our first date and our earliest dating was, what do you like to do? And she likes to do a lot of things.
That's not like an easy question to answer though.
It just, I think everybody sort of has a different idea of like hobbies.
Yeah.
And like specifically what that person's asking. I was wanting to know anything, but I guess for her it wasn't the usual like, oh, I like to paint.
Right, like sports. I think it was like that. Like
I work out for fun.
Yeah.
Or like just usually that, or even.
Yeah, like I play tennis and I write poetry and perform at open mics. Like in my mind, I was like, I don't have like I don't know. It's something that felt like a more formal hobby to me. Mm-hmm. Even you, like I feel like you are really into your bikes, you skate, you like are really into anime, like you have all this other like, I don't know, it feels like more like an acceptable, clear cut, well-defined hobby to me. And I was like, I like to read books in coffee shops.
Read books and go to coffee shops, but read books and go to coffee shops, that's a world of information that it took me quite a little bit to learn.
No. My patient baby.
I was trying to be. But I mean, and so, I mean, in a lot of the ways, I was just like, if I'm not said thing, patient, I feel like it's a good time to work on it. I'll probably be patient for now. Not for now, but like for this moment, in this situation, I will be patient and I will continue to be patient. Because I really like her. But what was clear is that she's a soft girl.
And it paid off though, your patience.
It's wonderful. I just knew that I was gonna have to come with the soft approach. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Do you have a favorite date that we've gone on? We've been on quite a few at this point, obviously, but.
My favorite date,
Mm-hmm.
specifically, no.
No.
Like one date,
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
But I think the transition of us spending all of our days outside, because we were obviously getting to know each other and meeting.
Yeah.
The transition from that we're from spending every day outside to spending sometime inside and closer together.
Yeah.
Was, I think that was probably the best dating period.
Yeah.
Because it was just like big leaps of feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
And I knew, with you being the type of girl that you are, first of all, you're not gonna be sharing space like that, energy like that, any of the things like that. So I mean, it just
it's a big deal.
It's a big deal. It felt super comfortable kind of going into your space.
Yeah.
And we don't have to be out. I don't have to be spending money. Like, I don't have to be sitting across from her or just next to her, kind of being, nice. I was like, I could sit next to her, I could wrap my arm around her, I could kiss her when I want to, and we don't have to feel like the world is looking at us.
Yeah, I think that was really nice too. Especially when we first started dating. I mean, it was winter. Full on, and obviously we weren't going to be in each other's spaces yet. So, like you're saying, being out in the world meant being out in the cold. You got to be out in the elements. We don't live in the same city, so it was traveling and meeting each other and all those things. I did really like when we were at the point where, like, okay, we can be in each other's space, so you can come over, or we can cook together. We can watch a show. Like, that stuff was fun. Do I have a favorite date of ours? It's hard. It's really hard to pick one. Because I feel like we've been on quite a few, but then a lot of like really nice dates and days. I think if I had to pick one right now, I really liked when we went to, what's it called? I always make a joke about it. Panorama Room,
which is on Roosevelt Island.
Yeah, that was really nice. I think it was just like another day where we spent the whole day together, really. We went there together.
Matching New Balances.
Yeah, we had on our matching sneakies. What's that called? Like a tram, the air thing?
Yeah, the trolley.
Yeah.
I think is what they call it, the trolley. I forgot which street. It might be at 59th or somewhere in the 50s maybe. Over to Roosevelt Island.
So that was nice instead of
taking the train.
Yeah. So like that was nice, and then just like I felt like it was a good day to go when we went. Like there were people there, but it wasn't crowded. We just kind of like chilled for a while. We went early.
It's kind of like a brunch time that we went. Maybe a little later than that, or a little more in the afternoon towards the end of brunch.
Really romantic.
It's a great view of the city from there.
Yeah, I felt like we laughed a lot.
The chairs we got were facing New York City, were facing the view.
Yeah, and it was cold still, but like to be in there, but like then with all the glass, you had the sun. Like it felt like we got to be outside. We weren't really outside, obviously, because it was cold still. But it was really, really nice.
No, I really enjoyed it.
That's one of my favorites. It's like a core memory.
One I really enjoyed too now, and especially I think I'll always be reminded of it, is for your birthday. I mean, it rained that day, but we made
for my 30th birthday.
Making the oils.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it
took
became
me to like a fragrance making class.
Which I thought was gonna be, it's for your birthday, so I mean, this wasn't just random places we were going to. I put some thought into these places. It's a lot of nights, dark room, bright screen on my computer, trying to figure out what to do, how we could do it, what I could afford, all the things.
So sweet, my baby.
Yeah, I mean, and even now, like, you can't see it, obviously, but I got it on me. I got my fragrance on me, and which she really likes. She used her fragrance for quite a while after she made it.
I love it. Yeah, I still have mine too.
Got to get a good whiff.
But I love a man that smells good, right?
It's for a while. I didn't think, I was like, I made it, but I was like, I just feel like it smells like cinnamon. I wasn't confident in my skills, but it worked out for the better. I was like, let me wear this one day. And she didn't realize what it was, and
because it was different. I'm very sensitive, so it matters to me. It really mattered to me that he smelled good when we first met, and I notice whenever anything's slightly different. Like, I'm like, you put something different on.
You get good reviews, you all of a sudden you start to feel better about things. So it's like, you know what, let me
It smells amazing.
rub a little something on my something.
I need something. So that's kind of how we met. First impressions. Favorite date or, so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess let us know if there's any other questions you have for us. He said he'll come back.
Maybe.
Every now and again.
Every now and again. I'll be back, so we can do this. But, I mean, usually, like most of the time, if you know anything about me, you got it from her. And that's kind of my hot stay a little bit. But we'll see.
Thank you, baby.
You're welcome, boo.
Love you guys. Later.
Peace.